Are you ready to create a life you crave? Let's spin that doom loop of negativity into an upward success cycle and start living lucky.
Good morning!
I'm Jana.
I'm Jason.
And we are living lucky. I know you are too, because we are here together. And I love this.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Ooh. Would you be mine?
Oh, I can't get your key. I don't know what keys
I've got a
in.
pocket full of keys.
Help me
going
out.
Jing-a-ling-a-ling.
Help me out, Sheila. Help me out, Marcy. All of the musical people on here. Help me out. I don't know where he's singing from.
I just go to my own key.
Please say hello. We want to connect with you. Mindy's here. Patrick's
Good morning,
here.
Patrick. Good morning,
gosh.
Sheila, Mindy.
Okay, so my friend Marcy, who I got to spend some time with last week, have you ever spent a few days with your best friend from high school? It is so much fun.
I feel like I need that.
We reminisced, and I'm telling you, we were talking about stories. I felt a little uncomfortable because her daughter was privy to our conversations, and I was thinking,
Pulling out all the old secrets.
I'm not sure we were the best role models. And that's not a wheelchair joke, but you boom. Okay, maybe it was. At any rate, we were just sharing all of our gunk that's inside, all of our thoughts and memories.
That builds trust, though, and a lot of times as parents, we want to pretend like we didn't do some of the things.
Oh, we did.
And
we
then
did it.
Say, don't do that. And then when the child says why, you say, because I said so. You don't want to say, because I've done it.
Because
and it turns out poorly.
Yeah. I did it, and you are reliving my life.
Yeah.
I am watching you do it.
The same mistakes unless we learn from the mistakes of others.
Yes, I am your telescope. I am your looking glass. And if you want to see how that turns out, look at me. Anyway, so Marcy sent me this meme this morning, and it is by Emily Dickinson. It's not a meme, it's a quote. Why do I call it a meme?
Well, it's kind of it's phrased like a meme. It's just,
meme is like a 2020 quote, or that's like a new term.
I think a meme has
it's a new
picture
age term
with the words on it. This is just the quote. It's like a picture
Well, it's
of a
an
quote.
Emily Dickinson quote. And the quote is, do I have it written up here?
Yeah, it's out with lanterns looking for myself. It's a poem.
Okay, out with lanterns looking for myself. And for some reason, I just started laughing when I saw that. I just started laughing because I feel like that's been my last 10 years. I'm like, Jason, I don't know what I like anymore. What's my favorite color? I don't even know what's fun. What's fun? What lights Jana up? What inspires me? Everyone's like, you're so inspirational. What do I find inspiring? What makes me feel inspired?
And it's kind of funny to me. I get the mental image of someone going out in the night with the lanterns to kind of find these things because they don't want to let people know that sometimes we lose ourselves in becoming what other people need us to be.
Yeah.
So we kind of sneak around in the darkness to say, I don't remember what lights me up, but I don't want anyone else to know this because
Are you leaning back for a reason?
It's embarrassing. Well, I feel like I'm leaning in and I'm too close. And
He's doing like ab crunches. Do you see this? He's like, and I'm like leaning toward him, and I'm like, am I making him do that?
I feel very off-centered.
Do you?
Yes.
Why?
Well, maybe it's the way I'm sitting on the ball this morning. But I feel like it's kind of that getting, like, I don't want people to know that I'm searching for what is inspiring me.
I know this feeling. In fact, Wayne Dyer has this story of, he talks about it's in the middle of the night and he's looking for his keys in the dark and he's looking all over for him and he drops his keys. Okay. He drops his keys and it's by the window and he's looking, he can't find his keys. However, right outside the window is a street lamp. And he thinks, oh, if only I had some light. Well, the light is right outside. So he thinks in his brain, it makes sense to go outside.
No sense looking in the dark for my keys.
I'll go outside and look
I love that story.
for the keys. So, and again, this is the middle of the night when this is all happening. So he goes outside and he starts looking for his keys. And then his neighbor happens to walk by and he's like, Wayne, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm looking for my keys.
I dropped my keys. I got to find my keys.
And his neighbor goes, well, I'll help you find them. So now his neighbor's outside in the street lamp looking for his keys. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh my God, this is so dumb. I was sleepwalking in the middle of the night. I dropped my keys and it all made sense at the time. But now I'm in this really stupid predicament. And isn't that what happens in life is we look to the external for approval. We look to the external for help and
look outside for what inspires us
and for who we are.
Oh.
And for, hey, what did you think? It's almost like we're looking in the eyes of people and we're reading their facial expressions and we're like, who am I? we're looking for, when we're babies, we do the same thing. We do something. And then when we get attention, we're like, okay, let's do more of that. So if we're funny and people laugh, we're like, okay, I'm going to be funny again. Or if we're smart and people give us approval, like, oh my gosh, that was so great. You did such a great job and you got the right answer. We do more of that. We do what we get attention doing. And so we are trained to look outside of us and go where the attention is.
Where attention goes, energy flows.
And so it only makes sense to go where the light is. And then we get to late in our 30s or in our 40s and we think, I don't know who I am.
That's right. We don't bother to ask our 6-year-old self.
Right? That's who we, it's so funny you say that because as a Kansas girl, I always go back to Wizard of Oz, which I think is one of the best spiritual movies of all time. And people are like, that's not a spiritual movie, Jana. And I say, oh, contraire, my friend.
Oh, but it is.
Oh, but it is. Oh, but it is. And people always say, oh, you mean there's no place like home? That's the overall message. And I say, oh, no, 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 no. It's Glinda, the good witch, when she says, the answers, my dear, are all within. You just have to find them yourself.
Yeah, and think about all the scary flying monkeys.
Yes.
To me, those are just those negative thoughts, like those scary negative thoughts that are just flying through your mind all the time, and you have to combat those.
Oh, I could write a whole dissertation on the Wizard of Oz.
Word.
I
$10
seriously could go back to college and get my PhD on the Wizard of Oz. Maybe I should do that. You know, I don't know if that was just my subconscious saying that out loud, but I literally...
Smells like an idea fart.
Yes, because, you're going down that road, that yellow brick road, that's your life. And what you look for is what you're going to find. And when you're looking for courage, you attract the lion who has none, right? He's also looking for courage.
To be courageous.
Right? And then you find yourself creating these situations where you have to find your bravery, which is the opposite of what you're looking for. You have to be almost insecure in order to
find your security.
Be brave. Yeah. It's like there's polarities there.
Yeah.
And that's what life is. And then we create these situations so that our soul can grow. Our soul can grow. And then when we get to the end, we find that the wizard is just a bunch of flim flam and that we've created all this in our head and all the answers were at home in our soul. And we just created this shit. In our minds.
That's right.
Okay. You know what? Maybe I will go back to school and get my PhD on that one. Mindy says connection with inner child does help with figuring out what inspires you. For me, play with a small child. Their wonder and curiosity inspires me. Blowing bubbles or singing fun songs.
Yes.
You know what, Mindy? I've seen videos of you playing with small children, and that brings me joy. That brings me joy.
Down in my heart.
Where?
Down in my heart.
Where?
Down in my heart. I love Sheila says, or get in our 40s and say, this life I'm living sucks. I need to change.
Oh,
that's so huge, because how many people hit that wall and say, this is not what I signed up for. Something's got to change. And nothing in your life will ever change unless you have to change something that you do daily.
Well,
and that's
and a lot of
showing up here and changing some of those morning routines, changing something that you do every day that leads you in a positive direction. Get out there with your lanterns and find that thing.
Well, the problem is, what you're not saying is that people don't know what they want.
Yes.
Because they haven't taken the time to communicate
within
themselves.
Amen. You nailed it.
And that's what it's all about. We know how to communicate with our colleagues, our spouses, our friends. We know how to please people, our parents. We know how to please our teammates. We know how to please our neighbors, our communities. We know how to please society. We've been conditioned to be all these things, but we haven't learned how to communicate with what is it that I want? What are my desires? And when you finally stop and really communicate with yourself and figure out what those desires are, and then plug those in with your divine design, boom.
I feel like we talked about that on one of our podcasts a while back, Know Thyself.
Yes.
Because we feel like we know ourselves intimately because we spend all of our time with ourselves and we hear all of our own thoughts. But just like you just said, we're pulling all those thoughts from people and the mirrors that we're seeing in the world instead of reflecting off of our soul and looking into our soul. So we have to continue to keep going back to who we are and what our soul really wants in that desire. I love what you just put out there.
Pam says, please stop pleasing. And Mindy says, this sounds like fun. And she's referring to Sheila playing drums with kids. Oh, that does sound like fun
and loud. Fun.
Actually, Sheila said she had a student show up that happened to be blind. I was so impressed that you came up with the clock system and to tell her how to play drums like the clock, like play 3 o'clock, play 7 o'clock.
Everything is figure-outable.
Everything is figure-outable. I love that. I love that, including our souls. So if we just learn how to communicate with ourselves, we will find the light within. Thank you guys for joining us. It's a lesson that I continue to learn over and over. And I kid you not, as soon as I say, you know what, Jana, just listen to Jana. Just listen to Jana and value what Jana has to say. Value what Jana has to say. The only person that really matters is God and Jana. God, Jana, then Jason. God, right. Jana, then Jason, then Tater.
And when you live to learn.
That's the pecking order. And for some reason, I continue to fall into that trap. And I did it again in Green Bay. As soon as I got off that stage, I was like, what'd you guys think? What did everybody think? Oh my gosh, give me feedback, give me feedback, give me feedback. And I gotta stop. And I need to just know. I need to know. Know from within. Know what lights you up. Know. Just know. And when you know that you know that you know that you know, that's when you know.
That's right.
Have a great day.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye. If the idea of living lucky appeals to you, visit us at startlivinglucky.com.